Hey guys, this is Hetu and welcome back to etlqalabs. So guys, I hope you all are liking this series and making good use for your learning. Uh, the Pandas is one of the very popular and very powerful utility or the libraries we have got within the within the Python, right? So, and then as I already promised that I will also cover some of the testing aspect of it. But right now, I just want you guys to be comfortable enough working knowledge of the pandas, right? And once you learn it, we will, I mean, probably at the end of this series, I think I'll be covering the testing aspect it, and that is the time when it makes perfect sense, right? So guys, in this session, we will look at how do we read different type of files, right? For example, CSV files that we have already looked at it before, and other than that also we have files, right? So we have like Excel file, JSON file, or maybe tab delimited file, etc., right? So we will see that all those major type of files, right? uh, which normally we use it, I think, yeah. So let's try to cover that. So what are the things we will cover, guys? We will see CSV files, and we will also look at some different aspect of it, like how do if file doesn't have any header, how do we mm, escape reading? By default, pandas will consider the first row as a header, right? But in fact, if there is no header and that is the first row itself is the data, right? So in that case, how do we consider that the first row is not marked as a header by pandas, right? So that aspect also we will look at it, and also we will see that how we can give our custom column names, right? If there is no column names at the header for for that particular file, right? So all those things we will look at. So we will look at CSV reading, all right. Then we will look at Excel. Okay, let me cover most of it, guys. And then I can say, you can also say tab delimited, right? Tab delimited file. And then we can also say semicolon. Okay, semicolon delimited. Okay, and then we will see also JSON, because JSON is very important type of file that we normally use in our projects, right? Because we really get the data from in the JSON format from upstream, and also we really need to know how do we read it and how do we write it also, right? So it's not about reading. I will also tell you how do we write all those things into different type of different formatted files. Yeah. So okay, so let's begin, guys, and then we will see that. Okay, all right. So one second, let me go to Jupyter Note, right? So guys, we will import our pandas first. To import pandas as pandas as PD, okay. And before that, I will show you. I already have some of the files here. So within this particular folder, right, in this file, I have all this. For example, CSV file, Excel file, JSON file, TXT file. So this TXT semicolon, and then this is normal. What is that? Not a space separated, but comma separated, right? So usually it's CSV dot CSV file, but this is also separated by comma. And then you have tab separated file, right? Tab separated file. So we will see each of them. How do we read, and what is the different, uh, what you say, different methods, right? And how do we deal with that? Okay. So let's see, guys. All right. Not here. Go to here, right? So import pandas as PD, all right, and then we will see that I will say, first of all, I will say, mm, one second, guys. I just want to read first CSV file, right? So we already have seen it anyways, right? So, but I will show you here once again. So CSV data, maybe I'll give this the data frame name. Then I'll say pd dot read underscore csv, right? So if the file extension is csv, in that case we have to use this particular function, right? Read underscore csv. Okay, give me a second, please. Guys, let me take the location because it is the file location is somewhere else. So here, let's go there, and I'll put the location here, and instead of backward slash, I'll put the forward slash here because this is the path, right? Now let's go here. I will say CSV data. There is a file called CSV data dot CSV. Okay, this is the file basically. Okay, so if I say, and then if I print CSV data, see, we got all this information, right? So this is not something new. We have been working on this, so we already know that. How do we deal with the rest of the different type of files, guys? Okay, so for example, I have a text file also here, right? So this is, let's say, text data that is there in this particular file. So let's see, how do we read it? Is it text data? If I say text data and txt, all right, let's see, I will say here text data txt. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, all right, and then I'll say txt, I think txt. Okay, oh, it's txt, guys. All right, so we got this data, right? So this data is in txt format, right? And so that we are able to fetch this because this is delimited, comma delimited, right? That is the reason we are able to see. If I want to show you, let's open this. See, this is comma delimited. That's why by default this particular function, right? Read underscore CSV. If it is comma separated file, right, then it will read perfectly. Okay. Now let's go to another one, which is basically the semicolon data, right? The semicolon data. This is separated, same data, but this is separated by semicolon. Okay. So let's see whether we are able to read it using read CSV or not, right? So let's see. Now this is also txt, guys, right? All right. Now I don't want to change the data frame name. That's okay. But you see, the data is coming, but it's like not in proper format, right? So this doesn't make any sense. So now for this kind of things, if the delimiter is not other than commas, then in that case we have to write something called one more parameter here, sep, means separator, right? So what is the separator between these fields is basically we have to give it here. So what is separator? It is semicolon, right? Now if I read, it will make sense. Okay, I will read, I will say it. Okay, that's okay, fine, no problem. Now it's coming, right? You see that everything is coming perfectly. Even if the file is CSV file, then also you can give comma here, but doesn't make any sense, guys, right? If the file is like CSV, then separator we don't need to give it like comma or something, because it's by default it considers that the file that we are passing it here is already a comma separated file. All right. Now we are able to read this too, and now what's that next? We want to read CSV is done. Now we want to read okay, semicolon is also done. We want to read, let's say tab delimited. So how do we do that, right? So tab delimited, guys, right? So there is file called tsv data. Okay, let's see if it allows you tsv dot tsv. So this is the tab delimited file, and I'll show you where it is. Here, guys, see, this is the tab delimited. You see there is a tab in between all of this, right? All these fields, right? Now let's see how does it work. So now this is tsv, and I don't want to give any so one second, tsv, I will say tsv data, something like that. Okay, all right. So this is tsv Now see what happened. See, this is there, but there's a tab coming here. You see, slash tab in everywhere, right? So this is also not a good format, right? So how do we operate with this kind of file is basically, again, let's try if we are able to use tab, right? How do we say? This is the way to write the separator for tab. Now let's try to run it. You see, now it's coming perfectly all right, guys. Correct? So this is tab separated file. But guys, there is a dedicated function also to read the tab a tab related. If the file is separated by tab, then you can read it using table, guys, right? So read underscore table. Okay. If I Even if I remove it here, let's see if it is able to see. So this, instead of, if you are going to give the separator, then read underscore CSV will work. If you don't want to give, so by default read underscore table, right, instead of read underscore CSV will work here, and read underscore table by default will consider the separator as a tab, right? So any file that is having the tab separator, a tab delimited file, that we can use read underscore table, right? So this is the one. All right, hope you are able to understand here, right? Now guys, uh, that we need to one more thing. How do we read the Excel file, guys, right? So even I have one Excel file here, okay? So this is the Excel file. Let me open it. So how do we read this particular Excel file? Okay. So to read the Excel file, okay, because this is Excel file, so there is a dedicated what you say method, right? This library read underscore table will work here basically. Okay. So if I say Excel data here, Excel data, okay, and the extension is XLSX, XLSX. Okay. Now I'll see here. Guys, this is just name, right? So it doesn't matter what the name of the frame you are putting it, but okay. Making something X. Okay, what is that? XLSX. Okay, 1 second. Let me see. Oh, guys, sorry. I think it is read underscore Excel. So this is another function, right, that we have to use to read the Excel file specifically. So there is no, by default it will consider the Excel only, it will read only Excel, right? So if Excel file is there, you have to use pd dot read underscore Excel, and let's try. I have already tried it here, so it's giving you this data, right? So this is the data that we have in the Excel file. All right. So we are able to read a wide variety of files, but to read any kind of file, guys, if you want to read, for example, if you have a file having one space, or you have file having pipe delimited, in all those cases, you can actually use happily read underscore table, right? So that will read. Okay. So right now we have learned what are the things that we have learned. Let me recap it. So to read this CSV file, we use read underscore CSV. To read Excel file, we read, okay, I'll say full, guys, PD, right? Then here also PD dot read underscore Excel. All right. And then to read the tab delimited, you can either use .csv, or you can use another method. So there are two ways to read it. One is pd dot read underscore csv. Okay, and then you have to give here file name, right? Anyways, file name with extension, and then you have to give here separator. Separator you have to put it here like a tab, right? So you have to give this tab separator. Okay. So, okay, so this is one way, and other way is there is a dedicated function that I said, that's called read underscore table, right? For tab delimiter, right? And then you just give the file name, that's it. No need to give any separator or something, okay? So there are the two way you can read it. Now to Excel, to read this semicolon also, we have to give, you can either use read underscore table, or, sorry, yes, read underscore table or read underscore CSV. If you are using uh, any of this function, then we will, let me try if it is working. I think I'm not very sure, but let's see whether both of them are working to read the semicolon files, right? So let's go down there. So what is that? Okay, what's that name, guys? Semicolon data, right? Semicolon colon data dot dot. So let's try, guys. Okay, so I tried read underscore Excel first. Oh, not Excel. I have to write CSV. Let's see if it is working. Okay, and then I'll use this tab data frame and see. Perfect. This is working, guys, right? Okay, let me try read underscore table, whether this is also working or not. Ideally it should work. Perfect. So read underscore CSV, if you give the separator, I think read underscore CSV or read underscore table will work for other format data also, right? But the by default separator for read underscore table is tab separator, and for read underscore CSV it is the comma. Okay, but if you want to use other different separator, you have file, then you can read either using underscore table or underscore CSV. Both of them will work. Okay, so this is covered. Now very important thing, we have to read this JSON file, guys. Okay, JSON is one of the very important type of file. So now if I show you, I have some JSON data already here. Okay, so you see that employee ID 1 to, okay, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, right? Yes, 1 to 5, and we have some name and yeah, employee ID, employee name and country, and 2 3 columns are there, country is also there. Okay, so let's see if I can read all this data using any store into data frame, right? So let me go there, not this one, guys. Okay, all right, I just uh, I just don't want to write so much code. I will just use this. Okay, so if I say JSON data, and this is extension it dot JSON. Okay, now there is a dedicated function to operate on this. So read JSON. Okay, read underscore JSON. So let's see if this works. Okay, I'll just say JSON data, though it doesn't matter because this is just a name. Okay, let's see if I'm able to read it. See, perfect, I'm able to read it also, right? So we are able to read all major different type of data types, right? And if you have any different type of files for let's say for example .dat file, etc., then you can see that what is the delimited, and you can either use read underscore table or read underscore CSV, but you have to just give the separator, then it will work. Okay, so we are able to do all this reading part. And to write anything, guys, we have the very similar methods, right? So for example, if you want to write this particular JSON data into, so this we already got the JSON data, right? If I want to write this particular JSON data into, let's say, Excel, so we have to underscore, we have Excel, I mean same method, yeah. So to underscore CSV, if I say here, and if I say JSON CSV data, okay, and then if I give you CSV, let's try. Okay, so this is already done. Let's see if we got this file, new file. Let's refresh it. Okay, no, it's not here, guys. It should be okay. Let's go there. It should be here. Okay, but let me go from here itself. All right. So we have this data that we just created. Let's see if we are getting the data into. So this is the data, right? And so we are able to read it. Now we will understand one more aspect also, right? So we are able to write, so simple function, right? So if I want to write in type of file, so I just have to give dot, you know, 1 second. So you have to give dot to CSV, dot to Excel, dot to JSON, and you just have to give the file name. Then you see that it is already able to write it. Now, one more thing that I would like to tell you. So if I see one file, let me go there. Okay, Excel file. This is employee file. All right. Okay, guys. So this is no, I don't want here. I want to go to files. Yeah, from here. So if I go to Excel data, do we have, okay, so this is having header. I am actually interested to see a file which doesn't have any header, maybe. Let's see if CSV. This is already there. Which file doesn't have? Does it have it? Yes. So this is the TSV file, right? Tab delimiter. And if you look at this file, we don't have the header. For example, employee ID, employee name, and city, something like that, right? We don't have it. So let's try to read it and see if we can, how do we read it and how does it look, right? Normally, if you read it, for example, here. Okay, we will get the header basically, right? So let's run it and see. So we are getting the header like employee ID, employee name, country, because these headers are already there in this file, right? Now let's read it. Dot TSV file. So dot, I'll say table directly by default. So okay, TSV data, and then extension is TSV. Let's see, guys. All right, so we are able to get, but if you see by default the very first column, very first row is considered as a header here, right? But this is wrong because this is not header. Actually we don't have any header, so we have to deal with it because this is a data, this is not the header, right? Because we don't have header in this particular file. Yeah, where is that? We don't have any data in this particular file. We have all the data here, right? So let's go and see. So if I need to make this as a row, not as a header, then I have to give one parameter that's called header equal to none. Okay. Now let's see. Shift enter. You see, now this came as a not header, this came as a row data, but header is like 0, 1, 2. These are the indexes, right? So index starts from 0. So this is automatically taken by pandas, right? And similarly, the row also started from 0 index, and it is actually counting your number of rows, and similarly the columns, so 0, 1, 2, so 3 columns, right? But this doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because I want the real column name. So in that case, if we don't have the column name, then I can even give the column name, actually custom column names I can give. Okay, how I can give it? I can actually do one thing. I can define a list, and in that list I can give the name of the column. So for example, let's say I will say calls here, and then if I put a list here, and if I say, okay, there are 3 columns, right? So let me put 3 values here. So employee, AMP number, okay, and then name, and then what is this, city. Okay, now if I run this, okay, and here guys, I have to give one thing here. Here there is something called names. This is a parameter, and within this names I have to give calls. this list actually I have to pass. So what will happen is basically this indexes on the hell, one by one it will be replaced by this particular columns, right? This 0 will be indexed, will be replaced by employee number and name with 1 and 2 with city, right? So let's see whether it is working now. Okay, done. Now let's try. See guys, now there is no 0 1 2. Now we are getting the proper column names here, right? So this is what I wanted to tell you. Now if you want to put it something, you want to just write it somewhere, this particular data will be written, right? So two dots, CSV, two dot Excel, wherever if you want to write it, you can write it very much, very well, right? So this is what I wanted to cover, guys, and hope this is really helpful for you so that you can deal with any kind of file now. So uh, now this is one of the aspect that I wanted to cover, and there are so many other parameters also, guys. I would suggest you are you to just Google it and just read it. So you can just read it like pd dot read CSV parameters or something. You just Google it, and once you go to Pandas, page, right? That's where you can explore all those different parameters that you can pass, right? So, for example, I have also shown you set index, right? Set underscore index, which will basically set the index as employee number, isn't it? So, I have shown you this EMP number also before. Let's see. One second, guys. Is it index? No. Okay. One second. Okay, we'll see that part later. How do we set the index within here? But for now, I hope that you got the fair understanding how do we read different type of file. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys. And one more thing that I'm noticing when I'm creating this Python, the Pandas specifically this series. Guys, I am not seeing that so many people are watching this actually. So it's not really very encouraging for me when I do these videos and putting a lot of efforts to do it. So I would say that please provide your comment whether you are interested for me to continue with this series or not. Because what I feel is the pandas, especially pandas within the Python, is very important, even for the data scientist or for the testing professional also, right? So that is the reason I'm covering it. Okay, so if you look at the content within my whole YouTube channel, I'm only covering which are really important and which are trendy in the market, right? So if you're not liking it, please do let me know, because then I can stop this series and I can do some different videos as well, right? But if you ask me, I would encourage you to watch, share, and do like the videos if you feel that. Provide your comment if you need any improvement on those videos also, right? So that is really encouraging, and also send it across to your friends also who really need this knowledge, right? So that's the whole intention of this channel. And yes, guys, and another good news is kind of we are almost reaching to 5K subscribers. Yeah, so like we have a family of almost 5K people now, right? Within a span of short period. uh, and this is really I would really like to thank you all, thanks all of you for your love and your trust on this channel, and that is also fuel for me to keep going tirelessly and do more and more contribution to this society and community, right? So that's really good news, and thank you for all your support and you know uh, your comments also, right? And without your comments, I could not have been improved, I think. Okay, so that's the reason I still request you guys to utilize this channel to the fullest, right? And make sure that helping people is one of the best thing that you can do. I mean, many people I know that who cannot afford the coaching, and they cannot uh, pay the fees for the big institutions, right? That's where they pay. But here I have tried to cover the holistic view around the testing, specifically in the data centric testing, right? In future, maybe I can also cover the automation using Java, Selenium, etc. API testing, REST assured, etc. So that is the future part of it. But right now, I think I am actually focusing on the data centric related ETL, database, data warehouse testing. So these are the testing that is always there in demand in the market. And so that's all for this video. And yes, guys, thank you for watching this channel and making it you know making it to the success. And do share your comments, feedback, if you need any improve, if you want me to improve on anything. And thank you, and God bless you. Bye.